Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be looking at whether or not driving instructors are good enough as standard nowadays. I get sent in many clips of driving instructors doing less than perfect things, and in this video we're going to see a few, and a few poor ones I will add. This is where every single driving instructor in my local area, Liverpool, is going to be having an increased heart rate. Did you make the video? I've been teaching for over 22 years as a driving instructor, and every single day I try and take something on new. I try and learn something. Whether it's about a pupil, whether it's about a teaching method, or whether it's about myself, I always try and add something to my knowledge. Now, this video, I hope people who are featured take it in the same way. It's not a finger point. In this first clip we're going to look at an instructor parks where they shouldn't do. Park on the bus stop. Ridiculous. There is no way that any vehicle should be parked there, let alone a driving school vehicle. Even if it's a pick-up or a drop-off, what does this teach the students? No wonder so many people park badly if they've learnt this "it'll be alright just for a minute" mentality from their instructor on their lessons. This may of course not have been the driving instructor who parked there. Driving school vehicles, from my understanding, most of them have a 25 years and older policy. In other words, anyone over 25 can use that vehicle even if it's just for social and domestic pleasure. So it could have been someone in the family who's parked there. For me though, that's no excuse, because anyone who drives any company vehicle, not just a driving school vehicle, represents that company by their actions of how they use it. Here's a little story that may make you chuckle. A year or so ago, I lent one of my lads my old car, the black BMW. His was in the garage getting fixed and he needed a car for the week, and he lives down in Southampton with Erin. A lot of you may remember Erin's lessons that are documented. During that week that the car was down in Southampton, I got an email off one of my viewers. They said, "Ash, I've just spotted your car down in Southampton. I just hope it hasn't been cloned." And thanks a lot for sending me that email. It was really good, but it did make me chuckle. I told my lad he'd been spotted, and he was like, "Dad, you've got eyes everywhere," and I thought it was quite amusing. And that just proves that you are a representation of that vehicle that you drive. And I've always taught this to all my lads, and they're always conscious of it if they ever borrow my vehicle. So going back to the Golf on the bus stop, in my opinion it was the instructor who parked there. Now we're going to look at another clip where the instructor was definitely present, physically, but maybe not mentally. It happens quickly. Are you ready for it? Let's have a look at this one again. Some pupils do approach fast, but that was honestly ridiculous. It's also downright dangerous, and the only way you couldn't stop this from happening is if you didn't have dual controls. And that's really unlikely with it being a livery driving school car.
That was appalling.
The lack of planning and the level of risk in this clip are mind-blowing. What if a cyclist had been approaching this junction and was going to turn right? Some companies try and produce as many driving instructors as they possibly can in the shortest time frame, and that makes them more money, especially in these busy times that all driving schools seem to be having at the moment. But when this happens, I tend to find the level of training drops.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty forward to the
Slow, so
right.
We know which way to turn with the tilt.
Yeah.
So
now we go near side to
as
near
you steer
side.
right at your road now.
Pretty close to the line.
Are you okay getting close to the line?
Yeah,
good. In this next clip, the instructor lets the student possibly commit a driving offence. It's not the driving school Mini coming into the car park, but the grey Yaris on the left that we're watching. And this is the first of the alarm bells that start me off. The Yaris overtakes on the bay side of the Mini. They should be passing to the offside of that vehicle. And reiterating what I said earlier on in the video, poor habits from the instructor become learnt behaviours from the pupil. This next part is utterly ridiculous for me. And unfortunately, I see it all the time. The instructor gets out of the vehicle and leaves the pupil unattended. And even though this is a private car park, because it's got public access, it still means that the pupil should be supervised. And even without driving forward on their own, the pupil is committing an offence. The only time a provisional licence holder is okay to drive on their own is on the driving test. The rest of the time, they must be supervised. Don't forget though, we could be all making some assumptions here. That student could very well be an international licence holder, and that means they could be okay to drive on their own. It could mean they're also a full licence holder and are just coming for extra practice. Occasionally instructors will leave the roof box on if they're particularly nervous. But in my personal and honest opinion, I don't think so. I think this was a provisional licence holder. There were certain things about how they did this reverse that told me this was probably the case. Let me know what you think. What were the telltale signs? So the message I'm trying to get across is we need to know the full facts before we jump to the wrong conclusions. If you post a review of any company before you know the full facts, that could be to the detriment of innocent people who haven't done anything wrong, and that's not fair. I've had a couple of complaints that I've had to deal with recently, and I actually think complaints are good. If you deal with them in a correct way, it allows room for improvement. Now the first one was someone phoned up and said that this driving school car had pulled out in front of them and it was really dangerous. I found out which car it was, I found out the instructor, and I got in touch with the instructor. That car was on test and the pupil passed, so the examiner didn't think it was too bad, did they? The next complaint was from a lorry driver, and because of their high seating position they'd spotted someone in one of my driving school cars in the passenger seat on the phone, and they made a complaint that the driving instructor was on the phone during the lessons. Now again, I found out which car it was and what instructor, and interestingly that car had just been on test. The instructor was driving and the pupil was on the phone to their mum telling them the good news. They passed. Now, I'm not saying that all situations can be explained this easily. If a driving instructor does do something wrong, you need to make a complaint about them. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can do this properly, and it's to the DVSA's website. As you can see, I'm all up for improving driving instructor standards. It's down to us instructors to then get the levels better for everyone. Now, in this next clip, there's plenty that needs addressing and improving. This driving school car contravenes a keep left sign, and honestly I was a little disappointed that my viewer also did the same. The registration is blurred at my viewer's request. Now this final clip was actually shot the day that I'm filming this video. It wasn't going to be included, but I couldn't leave it out, and this categorically proves my point. Instructors need to be better. So this clip was filmed on Monday the 11th of April, which is obviously after the 25th of March where the new mobile phone updates came into force. And I spot this instructor on the left hand side looking down at his lap. It was impossible to see him holding his phone. He might not have been, it might have been in a cradle. But I had my doubts, so I decided to ask because his window was down.
What do you reckon with this bit?
We'll be waiting for a while.
Just budge up a little bit for me. Just budge up a little bit. Stop us a sec.
Is he on his phone?
That Chris Kelly car is on his phone.
Is he actually?
He's on his phone.
That's so bad.
You're not on your phone, are you, mate? You're not looking at your phone, are you? Are you seriously looking at your phone? Say again? You were looking at a message on your phone. Don't you get the dangers? Honestly. You're a professional, buddy. Or you're meant to be. That is a disgrace.
Now, don't go anywhere just yet. This video hasn't finished. There was a little bit of fallout after I told a few instructors that this video was going to go public. And I'm going to let you in on a few of the things that have gone on. I did show this video to some people within my industry, and it got back to some of the people who were featured, and they were less than impressed. They wanted the video not to be shown, understandably. However, with my passion for road safety, and especially after all the videos I've released in the past with all company vehicles being shown, there's no way in the world I was going to let a driving instructor off. In my opinion, driving instructors should be classed along with police for examples they should give while they're out on the road. Even if one of my lads was caught perhaps on his phone, and one of them's a driving instructor, even if he did something that was illegal, and if I was sent that video, I'd have no hesitation in showing it. We need to look at ourselves a lot more, and that's in all walks of life. And on that subject, there's a video that's scheduled soon where I'm less than exemplary. Some of my instructors did have reservations about this video going out, and I totally understand where they're coming from. It's as if I've put them on a pedestal and they're there ready to be knocked off. But it's actually no different than what I've been doing for the last 7 years, featuring perhaps private hire drivers on my videos. I've been giving them loads of grief. They share the roads with us. They often have dash cams. What I've said to my instructors is this: we all make mistakes, including me. If you make an honest mistake with a pupil on a lesson, that's not a big deal. But the clips that we've seen in this video, they weren't mistakes. They were just awful. I might very well have upset a few people by showing this video, but I think my viewers know me. I honestly don't care in the slightest. I've upset many a subscriber over my time, and honestly, it's all in the name of road safety, and this video is exactly the same. If showing these clips has made any instructor think twice before they commit an illegal act, it's done its job. Any instructor worth the salt shouldn't be worried about this in any case. Speaking to some of the people within my profession, it's hit home that some people don't have the same road safety attitude that I do. Some of the management of the companies of the vehicles that we've featured in this video tried to play down some of their instructors' actions, and that's diabolical. So this whole situation is simply not good enough. Us driving instructors, we're responsible for producing the next generation of drivers, and we all need to do better. Keep safe, and hope to see you soon.